And we are live. Well, a pleasure. It's already the second time. I feel I've done this all of my life. That's not true. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, in this most recent episode of What Keeps You Up at Night, I am absolutely thrilled to greet one of my good friends, Pauline Laravoire, a Paris born sustainability entrepreneur and educator who has been building impact driven communities between Paris and Kolkata as sustainability director for Techno India Group. And she is also the founder of two separate entities, Wise and it's not Rebalance Initiative. See, I wrote it down, Rebalance Institute. Uh, Pauline and I had met a little while ago when she was doing her Masters of Sustainability and Social Innovation at HEC Paris. Pauline, it is so nice to have you. Thank you so much for coming.
Always good to see you, Jeremy. Thank you so much for having me.
Same here. So there's no secret about what the next question is. So, Pauline, tell us what keeps you up at night.
There would have been many things I could have answered that question, I think. But as it connects to my professional journey and my day-to-day here in Calcutta, as well as when I was working in France, also in Paris, what keeps me awake at night is how to navigate the transition that we see currently in higher education institute, especially, and how to navigate the gap between the language of teaching nowadays and the language of the new generation of learners, which tends to broaden and to leave a lot of educators completely clueless on how to continue engaging efficiently higher education students. So, in a nutshell, that would be what keeps me awake.
So, what would be, do you think, the roadmap going forward? What is it that we're missing? What is it that, strikes you as the most significant fixes that would get most mileage?
Hmm. Before fixes, and I think there's no, silver lining or one-stop solution. Before fixing it, maybe the diagnosis in a nutshell that I see is multifold. One is we see that cognitively brains are not working in the same way. There's shorter attention spans. There are different ways in which we can reach out to them. There's also increased competition with other forms and platforms of learning, especially with social media, with different learning platforms, with ChatGPT and other Gen AI platforms that we can see. And so as a result of that, there's higher and stronger competition in the learning market, if we can say it like that. And we see students that are more difficult to get into to engage, as well as more demanding for their money, and rightfully so. Maybe this is not all bad, and there would be I'm not sure how to say that in English, but a nivellement vers le haut, where maybe all of this increased competition is not going to go completely against universities per se, but I would say against mediocre universities and teachers and courses that are offered on campuses these days that will not be able to sustain that competition. So I think one of the ways out of that is most likely that universities will have to completely revamp and change the way they operate in the mid and long term, from offering only information for which they had the monopoly earlier, to really focusing on formation. And how do you go from just content delivery, for which they do not stand a chance against ChatGPT and other learning platforms, towards models of being more networking spaces, community spaces, interaction spaces, spaces where critical thinking and life projects can come alive beyond just knowledge transmission.
Yeah, this is absolutely remarkable, and I think I share your assessment quite widely. I often think of it this way, I mean, in higher education, we've often thought about these programs and participants in particular as networking games. It wasn't always content, and it pains me to say this as a professor, right? But even when you think in terms of networking, of course, you can find someone who's going to find you your next job. Of course, you can meet someone who's going to bring you your next round of investing, right? But there might also be type of people who might actually give you insights and perspectives that you did not have. So a
Yep.
third pillar of networking could actually be on how do we create that theater and that conversation on substance. But that seems quite challenging these days in a polarized environment.
Yes, absolutely. And I think a couple of things that that this made me think of. I really believe that universities now will have the task of recruiting. I don't think they deserve the title of teachers anymore. Recruiting these networkers or thinkers, right? That will be there to organize thinking in a way that goes beyond information into debate, into critical thinking, into smart interactions that go beyond what we can get online. And also, as you rightly mentioned, in this very complex, polarized world, which also is full of fake news, I think overall, the universities will have this increased role um, of being bastion of truth, of being bastion of scientific based knowledge, and having the best expert in the world for the most prestigious universities to keep alive.
Yeah, so we might still need professors in that world, right?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
there will need to be
Out of the
facilitators and professors, like you, Jeremy, like
well,
you.
thank you. One final thing, Pauline. Here's a fear that I have. You tell me whether you
Hmm.
share it or whether I'm completely out of it. But and again, this is not a criticism against any parent because as parents, we do the best we can every time. But I am struck by, you enter a restaurant and the amount of kids who are in front of an iPad, right? And
Hmm. Hmm.
why am I struck? To be perfectly honest, I tend to think to myself, in 20 years, these kids are going to be in my classroom. So back
Right.
to the attention part, are you any more optimistic than I am on this? It kind of feels that attention is basically blowing up to pieces. It seems that we live in the world of Twitter because I refuse it to call it anything else, or a TikTok. Is there any opportunity for us to retrain our brain to pay attention, or is that a lost cause?
I think this is a conundrum that I'm also wondering about every day. Like there is this dilemma between as teachers, professors, facilitators, do we try to communicate the way this new generation is communicating, which would require us to change drastically the way we have always functioned and seen, teaching? Or are there things in the more traditional approach of teaching that we want to sustain and to maintain against the trend of the trends of this new generation that we see,
Mm.
be it learning online or ways of engaging students that require professors today to be Netflix entertainers. Otherwise, you don't stand a chance in front of them. It's I don't think I have an answer. I don't think um, I'm super optimistic for the few years to come, but I think we can see the beginning of a counter trend where we are starting to see the limits of you know um, screen education and individualization of education on screens. And I think more and more parents, to go back to your question, are sensitized and sensitive to this. So I think we'll hit rock bottom, and then it will it will hopefully give birth to new alternatives that focus less on screens, more on human interaction. But we're not completely there yet, is
All
my
right.
assessment.
All right. Well, this suggests we need to talk again soon. Let's do this again soon, Pauline.
Would love to. Would
So,
love
so
to.
much.
Thank you
Thank
so much, Jeremy.
Take care.
You too.
And
Thank you.
this was our second episode, ladies and gentlemen, and stay tuned for many episodes to come. Take care, everyone.